So, good morning to everyone for whom it's morning. For the two of you who are really far away and it's evening, just hello. Oh, it's always exciting to see who's going to come. And it seems like there's almost always someone new who hasn't come before. So, Maria, welcome
Thank you.
this morning. We hope that you will become one of our regulars. Um, but like I said, feel free to just come when you can. Um, and again, because you said you haven't used Zoom, so there's the gallery view where you get to see everyone. You can mute yourself with the button usually at the bottom of the screen, and we ask that when we're doing our writing exercises that you mute yourself, or if there's a lot of background noise where you are, to mute yourself. I can also mute you from here, but mostly if there's not a lot of noise, it's fine to leave it on. And then the way we respond is just, you can raise your hand when you're ready to speak. And just so really what happens is that I usually read some poetry and we do introductions each time. And then when we write, we just respond with what resonates for us. This is not a critical writing class in any way. This is just to like give each other some space to really allow words to come through in whatever ways they do, without judgment, without self-critique. There have been people who said, "Oh, I'm not a poet," or "I've never written a poem," and that's fine. Poem making is just I feel like a fun and an opening exercise to do, especially in this time when there's a lot to express about so many things. Good morning, Patrice. Glad to see you.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Hi.
So I keep coming back to this very short, roomy poem that just keeps resonating for me, where he says, "This we have now is not imagination. This is not grief or joy, not a judging state or an elation or sadness. Those come and go. This is the presence that doesn't." So, as always, let's just go around and say our names and where we are physically in the world right now. And this morning, maybe just a color that describes how you feel this morning. So I'm Red Wing, and my color this morning is purple, actually. So what happens here is that I usually read a poem or two and ask you to listen for a line, a word, a concept in the poem that resonates with you, that you might have curiosity about, maybe even jot it down. Um, and then we'll also do some writing together, which I have to say, just I am constantly amazed at all of the words that come through everyone in these short writings. And as always, you're invited to, continue with the poems that come through you during this session. And if you love it yourself and want to send it to us at the MERI Center, please do, because we're collecting the poems that come through this class. So usually I try to find poems that aren't too long. This one's sort of medium long, but this is one of my really all-time favorite poems. And because kindness is so important these days, Naomi Shihab Nye is an amazing poet, born in this country to a Palestinian father and an American mother. And she lived all over the world in Palestine and Jerusalem and Texas. She's quite a poet. So this poem is called Kindness. Before you know what kindness really is, you must lose things. Feel the future dissolve in a moment like salt in a weakened broth. What you held in your hand, what you counted and carefully saved, all this must go. So you know how desolate the landscape can be between the regions of kindness. How you ride and ride, thinking the bus will never stop. The passengers eating maize and chicken will stare out the window forever. Before you learn the tender gravity of kindness, you must travel where the Indian in a white poncho lies dead by the side of the road. You must see how this could be you, how he too was someone who journeyed through the night with plans and the simple breath that kept him alive. Before you know kindness as the deepest thing inside, you must know sorrow as the other deepest thing. You must wake up with sorrow. You must speak it till your voice catches the thread of all sorrows, and you see the size of the cloth. Then it is only kindness that makes sense anymore. Only kindness that ties your shoes and sends you out into the day to gaze at bread. Only kindness that raises its head from the crowd of the world to say, "It is I you have been looking for," and then goes with you everywhere, like a shadow or a friend. For me, all the words in this poem speak so clearly to what is needed right now in the world. So I'm just wondering what lines, what feelings jump out for you.
How you ride and ride, thinking the bus will never stop.
It is I who you've been looking for. And I feel a profound sorrow as you were reading this. It's really sorrowful that there's such a lack of kindness amongst us. It's bizarre.
How desolate the landscape can be between the regions of kindness.
Love, feel the future dissolve in a moment like salt in a weakened broth.
Yeah. I'm going to just mention the line, "and the simple breath that kept him alive." These days we've been talking a lot about being able to breathe, or the concept of breath and what that means in many facets, many arenas. And I think I work in healthcare, and we see that it is just a breath, just a thread.
Thank you.
Speaking of thread, till your voice catches the thread of all sorrows and you see the size of the cloth.
I would say only kindness that raises its head from the crowd of the world to say, "It is I."
You must see how this could be you, how he too was someone.
Yeah.
Well, you know what kindness really is. You must lose things.
Yeah, it just seems like every line in this poem is about where we are in the world right now. So let's use either whatever line really resonates for you, or just kindness is, or before you know kindness. Use any of those lines as a prompt to just allow yourself to start writing about what kindness is or what inspires you from this poem. So again, we'll do a 4-minute write on kindness, and if you want to mute yourselves while you're writing, that would be great. Would anyone like to read what has come through them? Oh, I'm going to read this shorter poem by Wendell Berry called The Real Work. And Wendell Berry is a living poet who is a farmer and writer who lives in Kentucky. It may be that when we no longer know what to do, we have come to our real work. And that when we no longer know which way to go, we have come to our real journey. The mind that is not baffled is not employed. The impeded stream is the one that sings. It may be that when we no longer know what to do, we have come to our real work. And that when we no longer know which way to go, we have come to our real journey. The mind that is not baffled is not employed. The impeded stream is the one that sings. Is there a line or a word that speaks to you or that makes you curious in this poem?
I feel this whole poem is so fantastic. I don't know what to pick, but I'm going to say the mind that is not baffled is not employed.
It's curious to me the impeded stream is the one that sings.
Say more about that, Anne.
Well, when I think of a stream, because I'm living around a park now that has a stream, and I always think of its flowing. and it's always moving. But when you put rocks and you put things in front of it, so it sings. So what is it singing? Is it singing that the water can go around it, that there's other ways? I'm not sure, but I'll look at the park differently and see if I can hear something.
I think it kind of fits in with the idea that the contradiction. Like I would agree with Anne that when you hear a stream flowing, you hear the sound of it going over the rocks, or you hear the water, but the impeded stream is the one that sings. It's like, where do we go?
I guess I question or I'm curious if when it sings, I'd like to think always of a stream in the beautiful Black Forest in Germany, perhaps, and everything is calm and peaceful and wonderful if you hear a spring singing or a stream singing. But since it's impeded, I wonder if it's only peaceful, the sound of it singing. Is it gurgling? Is it, is it struggling sounds, or is it what's singing? What type of singing? Anyway.
I was in the Black Forest for a few times, and the idea of being in a forest and not knowing which way to go, and it's magical. The forest is magical, and it draws you in, and that idea from the poem.
Oh, you're muted, Anya.
Just that's where the real work starts.
For me, the word "real" repeated is actually the strongest part of this poem, because personally, I have no idea of real work, real journey, imaginary, busy work, all of it. It's this emphasis, and also because I know Wendell Berry's work somewhat and his life, and so that is actually comes in. It isn't only the words. The words are not actually that strong for me in this poem, but the real work, the real journey. Excuse me. Totally.
So let's use that concept of the real work or the real journey and just let ourselves write for a few minutes. Would anyone like to share their words about the real work? Thank you all for your sharing. I'm going to just end with reading this poem by Alice Walker and suggesting that maybe over the week in between that we use the idea of hope as a prompt. This poem is called Hope to Sin Only in the Service of Waking Up by Alice Walker. Hope never to believe it is your duty or right to harm another simply because you mistakenly believe they are not you. Hope to understand suffering as the hard assignment, even in school, you wished to avoid, but could not. Hope to be imperfect in all the ways that keep you growing. Hope never to see another, not even a blade of grass that is beyond your joy. Hope not to be a snob the very day love shows up in love's work clothes. Hope to see your own skin in the wood grains of your house. Hope to talk to trees and at least tell them everything you've always thought. Hope at the end to enter the unknown knowing yourself, forgetting yourself also. Hope to be consumed, to disappear into your own love. Hope to know where you are, paradise, if nobody else does. Hope that every failure is an arrow pointing toward enlightenment. Hope to sin only in the service of waking up.
Wow.
So take those words with you for the week. Maybe write something inspired by hope. Thank you all, as always, for showing up. I love seeing everyone. If you have some writing that comes out of this that you want to share, please send it to us. Have a great week. This week includes the summer solstice between now and when we meet again, the longest day of the year, the beginning of summer. Yet another opportunity for prayer and ceremony and honoring the fact that the planet does keep on moving and changing in all its ways, and maybe we can too. So thank you, and I look forward to seeing whoever gets here next week.